Thank you for your interest in Conceptual Academy's Course Guidebook series. I'm Stephanie Blake, founder of the Course Guidebooks. I've been teaching with these techniques for over 20 years, from middle school to college, in both a seated and online settings. Let's take a moment to discuss the overarching philosophy of the pedagogical approach represented in the Course Guidebooks. With this approach to learning science, students are stepping outside the traditional academic laboratory with the understanding that the world itself is one big playground. These course guidebooks are more than a laboratory manual. They include student literature review research, guided laboratory investigations, inquiry laboratory investigations, and project-based learning. The beauty of the laboratory investigations and projects is that they don't involve expensive scientific equipment. Rather, students use common household materials. This is important for two reasons. First, we want students to see science in their everyday lives, not just in a classroom. It's easy to fathom that there is copious science in extraordinary topics like surgery, virology, and genetics, large hadron colliders, Martian rovers, and nuclear reactors. But this isn't really applicable to students' daily lives. So we shall enjoy studying science through the use of household chemicals, office supplies, food products, and other materials found within their own homes. Using everyday materials, which can be purchased at a general store, is a fantastic approach for students in all K-12 grade levels, as well as collegiate introductory science courses. I've always found that people go to their local science discovery center with their families, experience hands-on science learning, and leave smiling broadly. Why then, when we present science in the classroom, does it become the bane of student existence? It doesn't have to be. Using everyday materials and sharing these experiences with their friends and family members, learning science becomes more fun and generates courageous conversations among students' sphere of influence about science. However, it is our goal to not only teach science concepts, but also to improve science writing skills. That's why each concept begins with a literature review from materials to which students have access, whether that is a textbook, video curriculum, instructor lecture materials, PowerPoints, or quality online resources. Students will become better formal academic writers, as well as approach the study of science through a constructivist engagement to make the learning more meaningful. Learning to create a cited literature review is an essential skill whether students end up working in industry as a researcher, developing a research project as a PhD or master's student, developing a capstone research project as an undergraduate student, or just entering a science fair as a K-12 student. In fact, the literature reviews performed through the use of this course guidebook series can be springboards for these larger goals. In addition to developing a literature review at the beginning of each concept, students will also perform an inquiry-based lab of their own creativity and curiosity after performing 1 to 3 guided labs that teach the foundations of the concepts. These inquiry-based labs can also be used as springboard ideas for the development of research projects at science fairs, undergraduate capstones, scholarships, and competitions. By following these course guidebooks, students will increase their knowledge of science, as well as increase their science literacy skills and science numeracy skills. Their journey will be full of mechanical skills they will eventually master, including following reporting procedures used by scientists. This involves performing literature reviews, using citations, and writing in the third person. They will be able to identify independent, dependent, and controlled variables. They will articulate how each activity relates to daily living and is connected to the concepts important in science. They will create and analyze data tables and graphs, as well as use technology to import images and other media into a text document. And they will formulate a conclusion to each investigation and suggest ways to create similar experiments with different variables. By following these course guidebooks, students will also use everyday items like kitchen supplies, office supplies, and toys readily available through local stores. They will see that science is all around us, impossible to avoid, but also easy to enjoy. And they will be engaged in simple but effective hands-on activities, many of which students will be building from scratch. These approaches to learning science are the foundation of the next generation science standards. We are certain this approach to pedagogy will better help you and your students enjoy, explore, and quantify science with everyday materials.